Hello, friends. This is the Nope Coach podcast, episode 264, People Pleasing. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. Do you identify as a people pleaser? I was chatting with someone earlier today and she said to me, well, Suzanne, it's just because I'm a people pleaser. And I said, so when was the last time you pleased yourself? And there was just silence. And this is for all the people pleasers out there. I hope that you're not forgetting that you're a people, you're a person too. So many of us who identify as people pleasers are really great at pleasing other people. But what about ourselves? What is it that we want to do? Oh, I could never do that. I don't want to be selfish. And it's like, but if you're a people pleaser and identify as somebody who pleases people, what about pleasing yourself? What is it that you desire to do? And why do you hold yourself back from that? I could wrap this here and have a 60-second episode calling all people pleasers. When was the last time you pleased yourself? Hot take. You're a person. You're a people too. But I really want you to consider this. I have a lot of colleagues that I meet with, grow with, confer with, and the underlying tone for almost everybody that we work with is some form of people pleasing. So as a result, we're running what we're, for now, calling a roundtable. Shout out to Tad Hargrave for Marketing for Hippies for the idea. But basically, I think there's 6 of us. We're going to get together for an hour on Zoom. We're each going to talk for 10 minutes about people pleasing, and basically you are invited. Best way to find out about times, dates, and everything is to make sure that you're on my email list. So if you go to suzanneculberg.com and click on newsletter, you can sign up there. And because, whenever I'm running an event or anything, I send it to my newsletter first. And it will be really fascinating for this event because we have 6 different, coaches, healers, people who work with people, primarily who identify as people pleasers, to listen to their insights and their takes. Because I think the thing about people pleasing is often we feel like we're the only ones, or we are so mired in it that we don't realize that it's unhealthy, because it's just the conditioning and patterning that we've been raised with and that we've continued going forward to. And then when we see that there is another way to be, we're like, what? I remember a number of times where I've been at places where on first thought, I considered somebody rude or abrasive. And now it's just like, no, they're just asking for their needs to be met. If the room is too cold and they ask, hey, can you turn the thermostat up a couple of degrees? Or if, something is too noisy, could you please pop that down a couple of notches? It's not rude to ask for your needs to be met. It's not rude to excuse yourself to go to the bathroom or ask for it to be a little bit warmer or a little bit colder or a little bit quieter, or, so many ways that we don't even think. Like, if you get a room full of people and you say, how are you? Are you comfortable? Everyone would nod and say yes. But really, even as you're listening to this right now, if you're driving in the car, if you're out for a walk, if you're doing your dishes, how are you feeling in your body right now? I really want you to check in, not just nod and go, yeah, great, thanks, but think. Like for me, my back's a bit stiff, my shoulders are tight, and a stretch wouldn't go astray. So the second I wrap this episode up, that's what I'll be doing. But, checking in, or if somebody asks you, would you like this? Instead of thinking, oh, I don't want to be a burden, and immediately saying no thanks, would you like the thing that they're actually offering? Hey, I'm going to the shops. Want me to pick something up for you? Yeah, I would love a coffee or a newspaper. I don't know. Do they still make newspapers? Somebody recently asked me if they could take the kids. I was like, yes, please. Thank you. Because the thing is, if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't offer. How often do we let opportunities go because we don't want to be a burden, or we don't want to be, asking for too much, especially if somebody has literally offered? So, people pleasers, before you go out of your way for others, What is a way that you could go out of your way for yourself today? Very recently, I'll wrap this up with a personal example. My sister is going to the States later in the year. I have always wanted to go to America. My dream has always been to go to Disneyland. I live in Australia. It's a big thing. I've never done a long haul flight like that. Kind of freaks me out. And I was like, oh yeah, one day. I'm pushing 40 people. And so she was like, do you want to come to the US with me later in the year? My immediate thing was no, because, it'll be an expensive trip. No, because I have to ask Jeremy to look after the kids. Notice there, I said look after the kids and not babysit. One of my pet peeves is when people say they ask their husband to babysit. And it's like, you don't babysit your own children. That's called parenting. But he would have to parent solo for, however long the trip is. That is a big ask. He does need to get them to school and get himself into the office. Like, I do realize that would be an ask. But instead of just going, oh, no, thanks, I sat with it and I was like, what would I do if I was pleasing myself first? I would love to go to America. It's been a lifelong dream. I don't really want to go on my own. As much as I'd like to take the children, I don't really want to take them out of school. It is a big expense. It is all these sorts of things. I was like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime that I've always wanted, literally just being offered to me. And I'm about to say, oh, no, thanks. So in that moment, I paused and I said, let me check with Jeremy. I said to Jeremy, I want to go to the States with my sister. Will you be right with the kids for a couple of weeks? And he's like, you've always wanted to go to America. Go. And, most people, especially people who love and care about you, know what your dreams are and your desires are, and will be so supportive of that if you dare ask. If in your people-pleasing ways you don't forget that, hey, I'm a person too, and this pleases me greatly. So yeah, in July, going to America. If you're listening to this and you live, in America and you want to catch up, send me a message, info@suzanneculberg.com. Obviously, I know America's a giant place, and I'm going to Las Vegas and Disneyland in California. So I'm only going to 2 places and I'm not going to be there long. And I'm highly introverted and socially awkward. So, you might meet me in person and go, wow, she was not kidding. But, what has been a lifelong dream of yours that you keep putting off and keep putting off and keep putting off? And has there ever been a time, or are you open to a time coming up where an opportunity could knock or be presented to you that in the past you would have been like, oh yeah, no thanks, but no thanks, where you could actually, yeah, I'm going to please myself. I'm going to go for this and remember that you're a person too. So to wrap this up, what is something that, perhaps is available to you that you haven't been letting yourself see? Like my trip to the US, it might not be that big. It could be something small. Like, would you like me to make you a coffee? Or would you like me to drop the kids at school? Or would you like me to cook dinner? Or would you like to go out? Do you want to choose the restaurant? So often we think, oh, nobody ever thinks of us. They do, but we just don't receive it. So my challenge, if you choose to accept it over the coming week, be open to a way that you could please yourself and get your own needs met. And my second thing, if you're interested in like a round table discussion and listening to different coaches, healers, people discuss people pleasing, I think it'll be fascinating to see a whole bunch of people pleasers come together on Zoom and, just have an open discussion about it. Make sure you're on my email list. Go to suzanneculberg.com, click on newsletters, sign up there. And when I have times, dates, all the details of the event, I will be sure to invite you. I'd love to have you join us. And there will be a replay because obviously, as much as we try to accommodate, we can't accommodate all time zones. So even if you can't attend live, there'll be a replay for people who can't come live. Thanks for watching. Or listening. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.